This week on Social Kick, we're joined by Australian swimmer Tommy Neill, winner of back-to-back Olympic bronze medals in the 4x2 relay in both Tokyo and Paris, both times where he closed for the Aussies to secure a spot on the podium. After stepping back to battle a shoulder issue and refocus on his business degree, as well as contemplate life a bit, Tommy's back, rebuilding and in full training with a sharper mindset and purpose. So in this episode, we get into that reset, the racing and training that he's done to be among the elite swimmers in Swim Crazed Australia, and we also talk about what's next. Welcome to Social Kick. We got a partial crew. John's coming back from his college reunion, but we got Luke Paddington. I'm Brian Lundquist, and he's two-time Australian Olympian Tommy Neill. What's going on, Tommy? How are you?
Hey guys. Yeah, good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
Yeah, pretty good. You know, we were talking to Sam Short, and he said, you got to talk to Tommy Neill. And we said, hey, man, he's got 2 Olympic medals. He's a rangy freestyler. Yeah. Luke and I are both 50 guys, so, you know, we don't have any other freestyle events in common, but, you know, you're a brother in freestyle, so we respect that. And friend of Sam is a friend of ours now, so, yeah, good to have you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, you spoke pretty highly of speaking to you boys, so I'm keen.
Why did he tell us to talk to you?
I don't know. I think he just I was just in the gym, and I was like, I don't know where he was for an hour. And then he just came up and he's like, oh, mate, I just recommended you. You got to tell all your stories to these boys. I was like, what stories? I was like, yeah, right, don't play on. And then you guys sent me that message. I was like, happy to do
it. Wait, so did Sam skip out on gym so that he could chat to us?
Mate, he always skips out on gym. He does it 1500.
What's the most impressive thing you've seen Sam do in the gym?
Arrive. He goes through phases. He definitely doesn't skip out. But you know, different events require different sort of stuff. I guess. And we always sort of joke around that muscle doesn't float. But no, he loves it. He loves a chin up. And he's been talking up his leg press at the moment. Thinks he's going to be riding the Tour de France pretty soon, but
that's an interesting flex.
yeah.
What's the most impressive thing that you can do in the gym,
mate? To be honest, I was like, I guess similar to Shorty, pretty anti-gym growing up. I was always thought leaner was the better. I've actually just been out of the pool for a few months with a shoulder injury. Yeah. And the goal was to sort of pretty much eat as much as we can, get into a bit of an energy surplus, and then on top of that hit with a lot of gym. So, because of my elbow and shoulder, I probably couldn't do a chin up, pull up. The body just didn't let me for probably a year and a half. So to be honest, just to be able to do them with a bit of weight now is I'm laughing. It feels like Christmas. And just being able to do upper body gym consistently, that's just, it's been the best thing about coming back from this injury, because I was getting pretty sick of just doing squats and riding a push bike for 3 months.
Tommy, I've had a shoulder injury my entire career, and it's come and goes, and it goes from strengthening it to this rehab, what have you. And it pops up every once in a while when it's annoying. When did yours start? What made you take the time off? Describe your injury journey. Was it a year, 2 years before Paris? What's going on?
So pretty much 6 months before Paris trials. So early 2024. I was getting some pretty bad elbow pain, I guess. And we were just trying to manage it, see what was going on. Anyway, it got to the point where it was just, the pain was pretty bad. So we got it scanned, thinking it was a muscular thing, but it was actually a bone injury. Which how you get a bone stress in swimming.
Where in the elbow? I used to have issues here.
In the humerus, on the outside there.
Oh, wow.
Really, really niche. And I guess the annoying thing was there was no precedent for that. A shoulder injury is 100,000 swimmers have had this before. We'll just follow what they did. But this was more we not too sure what to do with this one. So we pulled out the arms for about a few weeks. Luckily, it didn't get to like a full stress fracture. Like it was just like the bone was just literally, you could see in the MRI, just flared up. And because that was when I was like I was training for the 2 Medley as well. So I was doing a lot of Medley stuff, and that sort of just flared it up a bit more. And then got back in, and then we probably had 10, 12 weeks before trials, with still the plan to introduce Medley, but it just wasn't responding well to the breaststroke and backstroke stuff. So we just sort of put all the eggs in the 2 free, and luckily it paid off. Got to do the individual there and the relay. So, but yeah. And then after Paris, had a bit of a break, got back in the water, flared up again. And then we sort of decided that like that is flaring up because the subscap of the left shoulder's weak. And we just made the call probably in March this year, just to give the entire body a rest. Not even the body, like more so the mind, to be honest. Like it was, in hindsight, the best thing I've ever done. Just to pull me out of the water, do some heaps of stuff on the bike. You know, I was riding like 12 hours a week on the watt bike. I got a push bike. So I was getting out on the roads and stuff, which was good fun, just to mix it up. But and now it's just all about firstly putting weight on, and then secondly making this sort of left subscap as strong as possible. And so far, like it's been pretty good. I've been doing freestyle for a while, and back doing butterfly, and then we'll introduce the other 2 hopefully soon. Yeah.
I love riding bikes. Is there good riding around you?
Yeah, pretty good. We have I live like pretty close to the Brizzy River, and there's this like 40k. There's this 40k like river loop, which is like the busiest route in Brisbane. But like, there's like little coffee stops everywhere, and like a few of my mates have a bike as well. So and I got out with Zach Stubby Cook. He was into it for a bit there. Yeah. At the start of the year. Yeah, he loves his coffee. And he loves his bikes. So yeah, we went for a few coffee rolls at the start of the year, and yeah, I love it.
I feel like breaststroke legs. He ought to be good at riding a bike.
Yeah, you'd think so. We were going up this. It's called Cemetery Hill. It's not that long, and he had warned me. He's like, mate, I did like 10 sets of like real heavy squats yesterday. Like I might be a bit slow going up. And I was like, nah, mate, we'll be fine. Just hang on to the wheel. And we jumped on like these randoms wheel, and I like just floated up the hill with them. And then I was like, oh, I'll just check where Stubbs is. And I was waiting a while up there. I was waiting a while at the top. He was like, mate, I'm cramping up. I shouldn't have done those squats. I was like, mate, just keep burying yourself. But he is a pretty strong rider.
You gonna keep cycling as part of your training now?
I mean, now that I'm back in the water, it's definitely like I'm not really doing it anymore. But like, I don't know, like I was sort of just enjoying doing it on like a Sunday morning, like just getting up and going for a bit of a ride with some mates. Like it doesn't really take too much out of you if you're just turning the legs over. So I don't know, like it was enjoyable, but then there's also the aspect of I don't really want to get hit by a car or anything. So I'd probably have some issues there.
Yeah. I've known some people who did get hit by a car riding a bike. So it's
horror stories.
It does happen. But the cool thing about it, I think, is, and I wish swimming had this. And when I got into triathlon for a while, but I also used to work in the bike industry. So I knew that world decently well too. And I think a lot of people who are in different sports, endurance sport, when they think about swimming, they're like, well, I hate just staring at the bottom, or they hate open water because it's dark. And they're like, oh, it's so boring. And I'm like, well, on one hand, it prepares you to be able to ride the watt bike on if you're used to just staring at the bottom. But swimming doesn't have this like adventure that kind of clears your brain,
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish it did, but it's just fundamental to the discipline, I guess, unless you're a backstroker and you can look at the sky.
Yeah, it gets real exciting. I mean, like everyone's different. I feel like a lot of endurance athletes, and I wouldn't call myself necessarily endurance, but like I think I am the same in the sense that like I love like when you can just zone out for hours. Yeah. Like some of my favorite sets are the like 1.5 hour continuous swim, like just put your head down and go, like easy. Yeah. And you're just like in a flow state. And like, I love that sort of feeling. But yeah, and then there's obviously the days where it can get pretty boring. But
no wonder you got shoulder problems if you like that.
It's the TISM speaking.
No, I get you definitely on the like sensory deprivation and this zoning out when you're swimming long and easy, because swimming is so automatic for us, right? Like we don't think about going into the water and turning. We can do it subconsciously. We just keep going, and you don't hear anything. You don't really see much. You're just in your head, and it's so meditative. But I wanted to ask you a question about your training now, man. So Luca Orlando, after his second or third shoulder dislocation, he was really doing a lot on underwater, was really kicking a lot, and that was his focus. And now, world champion Luca Orlando, you can see his legs are really strong that last 50, that 200 fly. And, you know, definitely some lot of leg focus he did with his bad shoulder times has paid off. Have you seen some benefits? Are you riding a little higher in the water? Your legs a little stronger? Has your technique changed a little bit since you've been back after that stint out?
I think the biggest thing I noticed, like from when you come out of like just a normal break where you're not doing anything, like obviously I think like the first thing to go and the hardest thing to get back is your kick. But from when I came back from riding the bike, like hammering the legs in the gym, like yes, I was a bit heavier, but like as soon as I did like a kick set, it felt like it was there. Like the feeling of the water on the feet like was still there. Yeah. And then like even like the breaststroke kick in particular, like the kick counts per 50 was like less. Like I could just felt way more stronger. Not necessarily like fitter, obviously because I haven't done it, but like I just felt like not like I had fins on, but like I just was a solid base to sort of launch off from. And I think like we're just trying to obviously now have a lot more of an upper body focus to get that back running, but like keep ticking away at that kick because like, yeah, I jumped back in the water in June, July, but still couldn't use my arms for like a month or two. So like we were just hammering the legs. And yeah, they get very fatigued, but I think now I'm starting to see those benefits in the fitness as well as the strength. So like, yeah, I'm hoping I'm hoping all that riding wasn't for nothing. Yeah.
I was going to ask you how good your legs are, because the last guest we had on is a 50 freestyler at the University of Virginia. And she was telling us about the kick sets that she does in Virginia with the Walsh sisters and all that. And one of the sets she did, and I tried it, I couldn't do it. It was 25s underwater with the socks on 30. And I'm out of shape, I'm an old man, what have you. But I was wondering, what does it take to do 25s underwater with socks on 30? You talked about the connection of your feet and you're feeling that pushback. Is that easy for you? Could you do that kind of stuff?
By the way, that was short course yards.
Short course yards.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We don't really. I've got a pair of socks, but like I reckon I've only used them once, so I probably couldn't speak to that. Okay. Yeah, we do a lot of like we go through, I guess, phases, but like when we're trying to hammer the underwater stuff, like it's a lot of with a drag. Like
parachute,
bit with fins. Yeah, parachute. Okay. Sorry. Like with fins, and then you take the fins off, or usually like it'll be like you flog, I don't know, 4 or 5 200s, like best average kick or whatever, just normal kick, and then like on short rest go straight into underwater with parachute, and they might just be like 615s, like max effort, just while that fatigue's like still pretty high. So like I guess I can't really speak to that set. Doesn't sound too fun. And my kick isn't really my strong point. I'm more of a puller. But I think doing that sort of stuff off fatigue is pretty huge. Like you see Leon off the back of a 7 laps in a full medley go 15 underwater. Like you can do that off the dive, but to do that off the final turn, if you're not practicing that fatigue, then
it's ridiculous.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, you split 144 in a 2-3. You're a 157 IMer, so your breaststroke kick is a hell of a thing. And when you're dead, you bring your legs back. What's yours? How strong and how good do you rely on your legs that last 50 of your 200 when you come 200 IM or 200 free? Like, is it a really big part of your legs? And you know, as a strength you can go on, or are you still keeping your stroke and keeping your gallop and picking up your tempo? What are you doing that last 50?
I think in every race, I know I've been taught this from a young age, like the legs is what you bring in the last 50, you know, like, and I think everyone knows that, like, and they are a huge part. Like, for me, it's like a stabilizer the whole race, and the end is where it helps you bring that rate up. And I think like I've been sort of falling in the trap in the past in that last 50. If I don't have the legs, then I'll try rate up and just end up spinning. And you can see that when that happens to people, you know, like they're just not going anywhere, and it's tensed up and it looks really hard. But I think when the legs come in, and in particular after the breaststroke leg and a medley, like that's, you know, different muscle group, but everything's on fire. That's super important. And I think like the easier you can make your breaststroke kick will allow you then to bring in it better for the freestyle, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like a lot of the like sets I'll do like at the end of it, or like the last sort of effort, we'll make sure that's like breaststroke or breaststroke kick or whatever. Not necessarily freestyle, just because like I think that's probably where I can get some bang for my buck by just trying to get that breaststroke stronger.
What hurts you more, that last 50 of your IM or last 50 of your 2-3? What's more painful for you? So
probably the medley.
Yeah. Right.
Just because I usually probably take the medley out like pretty, you know, a bit quick because I need to. Whereas like the freestyle, like I come from a distance background, like, and I think the 200 free, like, well, is already changing where you've got to be out sort of 50 point now at the very least. And sort of that's like the new standard and what I need to be at. So, I think both races, the first 100's just gotten so much quicker.
Sure.
Which you know is makes it for a fun last 50.
Great.
Well, it's so fun to watch because then we get to see who's still got the nuts, you know, the last 25 versus who's going backwards.
100%, yeah. And you can see it.
You can definitely see it, but it's more fun to watch people go out for it. Same in the 100, but
yeah.
What's the two questions? I want to go back to your break and your year off, but first, like a swimming related question. What's something that you noticed in the year away that as you kind of sat back and watched the rest of the world? Like, did you pay attention to swimming? Did you watch World Championships? Did you watch Aussie trials, or were you like totally away?
I was keen to see like how my like squad went. And I remember the day Aussie trials started was actually my first day back in the water from like that 3-4 months off. So I was like pretty excited, and it was actually my birthday. So it was like all these things happening. And I was like pretty excited. And that, I think Shorty did the full free that day. I think Pricey raced, like heaps of our guys are racing. And I remember watching that, and it was just like, all right, shit, like this is, I want to be doing that again. And I probably hadn't felt that for a good year, like since Paris. And then, but then in saying that, like that feeling of want to go, and then you go into training and you're only allowed to do like body position kick. Like, it's just like that, like you're like a dog in a cage sort of thing. Yeah. And I feel like finally, like we're back swimming again. Like it's like I'm like the leash is starting to get a bit looser, and the fire is well and truly lit. And I feel like it in terms of like watching Worlds. Like, yeah, I watched a bit of it, and like I was very conscious of sort of like the way it would play on my mind. And I feel like in the past when I haven't been at those sort of things, like that would probably get me down. But this year round, it was like, all right, like let's fucking have it. Like, excuse me, sorry.
No, you guys on here. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Like it was like the first time in a while where I've really just like sort of felt that hunger again, felt that drive, and be like, all right, we've got 3 years to LA. Like we're doing something about the shoulder. We're doing something about, you know, putting some weight on, putting some size on. Like I feel like I'm due for something. So, and honestly, like I was just going to training with a smile on my face, which was huge. And I think a happy swimmer is a fast swimmer. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. On that point, the part two was in respect to your year away. You mentioned it was, you know, part of physical break, of course, to deal with the injury, but also for some mental reset as well. Have you reflected on like what you learned about yourself? Was there anything that you approached with the intentional, like somewhat unintentional, but you know, you took a choice to take some meaningful time off? Were there some things that you were aiming to focus on and, you know, see growth in or spend time in pursuit of during that time? What do you kind of like think about that year away?
Yeah.
Away,
So,
even though you're still obviously rehabbing and doing that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, cause the start of the year, like we're trying to, you know, get back in the pool and whatnot. And like, it was pretty grim, not going to lie. Like it was a pretty rough time. Like to the point where it was, you know, like considering like what, like why am I doing this? Like, and I've never really honestly thought about like retirement until probably then. But now looking back on that, I'll like laugh at myself and be like, mate, that was ridiculous. And sort of now being in a much better place and looking back on that time, I constantly remind myself like that's sort of how bad it can be. Make the most of how you are feeling now, and don't sort of take the sport for granted. But I think, like we made the call. So we went to Flagstaff for an altitude camp in March. And literally the day before that, I was like texting my coach, like I literally texted, mate, like I'm not coming. I was like, mate, like I'm not even swimming. Like what's the point of me coming over there? He's like, yeah, I understand that, but we just like need to get some exposure. And to be honest, like we sort of just like want you there for culture. Like you're good for the group. Like let's do that. And going there, I was pissed. I was going because I was like, we're going on a swim camp and I'm not really swimming.
And at 2,000 meters, like that's hard.
Yeah. But then going there was actually like, it felt just like a weight off my shoulders because it made me realize like something needed to be done. And I think Damo, then we were both like, okay, something does need to be done. Like, are we going to make the call to have a few months off? And I was honestly like, I was like, mate, can we just on Saturday go out, watch some sport on the TV, have a feed and just like shoot the shit and just talk. And we did that and we made the call like, mate, all right, when we get back, we're going to lock into some rehab, put some weight on, get the strength in the legs. And it was just like that turning point where it was so like, where everything's so unclear and then it turns to flip the switch, we're doing something about it. Like whereas it was just come in, see how you feel, oh, not too good, do kick, oh, that's good, maybe try some swim. It was like that, just like Groundhog Day like that for so long. And as soon as we just had that chat, it was just like, oh, yes. Like, and it wasn't just like have a break, you know, go away, get on the piss, go, you know, like it wasn't like that. It was, no, you're having a break, but your goals have just shifted into making you better in the long term. So, and that was really good because I do work well when like I am sort of chasing something. And it was just like that shift in mindset to chase. Like, I think I put on 10 kilos in the 3 months.
Damn, fatty.
Yeah. I was eating as much as I can. I'd go home and I was like asking mum, I'm like, do I look fat yet? Like, and she's like, no. And I was like, no, like I want you to say yes. But like that, I mean, there's worse goals to have. So I just like shifted into that.
I
And
say,
then
that,
even
I say that, by the way, knowing that like every year there was like a 4-year stretch where there was a point in every season where coach said, hey, disappear on, Friday morning. Hey, I don't want to see you for the rest of the weekend. I don't want to see you till Monday. I just want you to eat. That's all I want you to do is just go eat. So I'm sure you're like emaciated by that point too. So
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was. But in terms of what I learned, I think like I learned. Not sort of what I learned. I think I always knew what I needed to do, but it was just like putting it in practice, and actually doing something about it. And like, yes, physically it's done wonders, but I think mentally it's just done like 10 times as much, just because like I do love this sport, I lost my way there for a bit, but like it's just so nice to be coming into training and like looking forward to burying myself, like instead of like rocking up, moping around, and and obviously there's going to be, those times again down the track, but I think like it's probably taught me just how to deal with that and manage that a bit better.
Yeah.
Tommy, I want to dive in that a little bit more because when somebody looks at Tommy Neill and you go, 2-time Olympic bronze medalist, he anchored Australia twice to medals. I mean, that's pretty much glory. That was big time. But at the same time, you missed 2 Olympic finals individually. Those mixed results must have weighed in you. And the back of your mind, did you think, dang, if only I had like a really healthy shoulder and I could I could go for it again for LA. So was it that switch? Like, did those results lead into that frustration and down about the sport a bit? And then the injury adding on to that, and then you made that mental switch, like, let's get this better and see what we can do. Let's freaking go. Explain a bit more of that switch, where it came from.
Yeah, I think I feel like I've just been sort of, and yes, I have been able to do these things like you said, anchor the relay, and make 2 Olympics, world champs and whatever. But I feel like I was just sort of stuck in like I guess in a bit of like an age group mindset. I don't know, where I sort of wasn't, I guess, willing to try new things, like willing to do the strength stuff, like, and like international racing, like, is by far like just the most unreal thing, you can ever do, and especially representing Australia. Like that is been my dream since a kid. Like, honest to God, like it is. I love this country and I love swimming for it. So, and I think for that, like, it also brings out the best in relays for me. And I think, I guess the switch that you talked about is more mentally, and I guess like dealing with racing, and I guess just believing that I can be the best in the world, individually as well, because I think like you get to these world championships or Olympics or whatever, and it's pretty daunting, and like I still, I guess, sometimes feel like the young kid there. By the end of the day, like, I've been on the team for like 5 years now. Like, what's going on? But then in a relay, I feel like I'm a god. And I think like like it does like piss me off. But I think like by having this break has just been like, it felt like I've just put like a old 67 in for a service, and I'm in the rebuild phase of like bringing out the new big thing. So like I am excited, and I think like for me, like I've been to Olympics, like it's more like what else I can do is like a bonus, like at the end of the day in 40 years time, when I don't know, telling whoever like what I've done, I'll be pretty stoked with that, I think. And but in saying that, like I am quite ambitious to do a lot more in this sport, and I think in particular LA is the big goal, and I'm pretty locked in for it.
What's your proudest moment as a athlete?
I think probably making my first team, the Tokyo team. The lead in to that was like like throughout my age group career was like quite just stable, like tick, 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 improving so rapidly. And that was so good. And then back end of 2020 got hit with glandular fever, which knocked me around and really took me out of the water for a while. And similar sort of thing. It was like, all right, we got 5 months to see what we can put together.
Wow.
And, you know, it was literally like starting with like 10K weeks because like my body and immune system couldn't really handle anything more. And then, you know, in 5 months' time, seeing my name and being able to say, I've made the team off this sort of preparation, like it was, that was pretty special. And I think I remember finishing that 2-3 and just like, I think Jack McLaughlin was the one next to me. And I saw was just had to get top 4 and I was third. And I just remember giving him a hug and I was like, I fucking did it. And he was like, you fucking did. And I was just like, just over the moon. And, you know, the first person I saw was my coach I've, you know, been with for like 13 years now. And, just gave him the biggest hug and it just felt like it was all sort of worthwhile. All that grim sort of start to the year and it really just turned around in such a really short space of time, which I was pretty proud about.
No, I mean, we spoke to Alex and Zach right before trials, I think, Brian, and that was arguably one of the hardest teams to make, that 4x2. You guys had a stacked top 8 in their trials.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex was going on 144, Zach was right there, Kyle, of course, and Jack, everybody. Yeah, so kudos on that. And it's interesting you answered that one. I was thinking, you know, maybe like chasing down the Russians and just, you know, getting a bronze in Tokyo or something like that, or what have you, getting your first medal. But it was interesting. It was that making that team, getting that number, yeah?
I think so. I think like obviously that relay was pretty special as well. Like that was definitely on the line as well as the sort of Paris one. But I think like just the history of sort of Australia's, you know, 2 and a 4 and a 3, and just being able to be a part of that. And like I said, like the dream growing up was and it wasn't even swimming, it was whatever I could make an Australian team in, like I would have taken it. And then just when I grew up, I happened to be a decent swimmer. So I think that was probably the proudest.
No, I was going to say, Brian, you go, sorry.
No, you said you had a comment, go.
Yeah, just a quick comment, because I asked you that question, because often when we think about why we do the sport, we think about that one moment that really made us realize why we're in this sport, you know, and why we're doing this. And, you know, it's not necessarily Olympics and medals and stuff, but we just like freaking achieving our dreams and goals and being with your mates and doing something you dreamt about. And that feeling tends to bring back that love for the sport. Brian, go ahead, sir.
100%.
Yeah.
I was wondering about both of your Olympics in qualifying. It looked like you ended up doing an event that you might not have on paper qualified for. I just want to understand more about this. How did it work in the 1500 in Tokyo and then the 2IM in Paris?
The 15, because only Jack qualified. And
Sam didn't?
No, he didn't qualify.
Okay.
It was Jack was the only one who went under the quali time.
Okay.
And I had the FINA time and I was already on the team, so I was able to race it. We just trained for the 2-3. And they were like, you can do it if you want. I was like, another 15-minute swim at the Olympics. Like, why not?
Sure. Yeah.
I'll take it. Like it hurt like you can expect. But it was just like good fun. Like I remember just like rocking up to it, like just smiling, like just like it was a free hit. I don't know what I was, like 15:02 or something, and I look up in the stands and everyone's laughing and like just giving me the thumbs up, and I'm just like trying to get my arm. I think I had a beer like an hour after that. Probably could have used the cards. But no, it was And then the 200 medley, same sort of thing. Because like it was an extra 5 weeks, so like maybe we'll be able to sneak in some medley training. And unfortunately couldn't really, but same sort of like reason. There was only one person on it. I think Brendo, but I had the time as well. So, because I was already on team, was able to do that one. And literally like the first lap of breaststroke I did for like 6 months was in the warm up for that 2 medley.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say in the race.
I made sure I did a couple of strokes before that. And then same sort of thing, like after the race, like even after the heat, because I made the semi. And after the heat, like I look at the boys in the stand and they're just laughing at me doing like breaststroke strokes. So I was just like, piss off. But yeah, similar sort of thing. Like was able to do another swim at the Olympics, and like who's going to say no to that? I think next time around I'll want to qualify properly and probably do a few more laps of breaststroke before I actually race it.
It sounds like you deserve a healthy lead into an Olympic cycle or quad. Hopefully, this time around is the secret with a re-strengthened body and mind. I mean, you got plenty of time until we get there, but
100%. I think
I'm also curious. So, this time around, I think it's interesting because every country seems to have a little bit of a different process for qualifying. There's some countries that have an even more stringent standard, to qualify to be taken on the team than the World Aquatics standard. And, now, they're introducing this whole thing with the 50s of stroke and, reducing the total athlete count in the games in total, which I think a lot of the national governing bodies have yet to kind of fully suss out exactly how they're going to manage the selection criteria and process. But I imagine it's like only getting more difficult, and gone are the days, and they already have been kind of already some where, you can get maybe 5th place and feel like you're in a pretty safe spot in the 100 or 200 free to get in. And now it's like, now even top 4 is going to get taken, but, I don't know how many more opportunities there will be of like, maybe it is the people doubling up like you. I'm frustrated as a 50 swimmer seeing that it seemed like with the new World Cup selection process or whatever it is for the 50s in those guaranteed slots that I don't know what USA is going to do, but having there not be, a clear path necessarily as a 50 swimmer to the team, and maybe giving favoritism to the 100 swimmer to swim the 50. I don't know. The whole thing is just kind of interesting to me. So I'm just curious if what's your observation of all of that, of this changing of, the Olympic order, and then therefore what it does the selection process, or does it even, is it even something you think about?
To be honest, I've heard sort of bits and pieces about it, but haven't really given it too much thought, to be honest. But I think I guess every country is different, but I mean, I have full faith in sort of Swimming Australia to be able to put our best team forward come LA. And I mean, like you said, there still is like a fair bit of time, 3 years that they can sort of decide that. But I think and you saw it with the 800 and when the 1500, when they were added, as soon as an event is added to the Olympics, every event's on the same, playing field, and they're all as equally as important as each other. And I think why not sort of follow that? But then I actually didn't know about the reducing athletes. That doesn't sort of make sense in my mind. How you can add more events, but then reduce athletes. But I guess that's just, double ups could be more important. Relay swims could be tighter to get. But I'm not too sure what's going to happen with that one. But I think, 3 years of trial and error. Hopefully for Australia anyway, we can get our best team forward for LA. But I think I'll just try win, and hopefully I've got no issues.
I agree, dude. Take us into Rackley training environment now. So Sam talked about it a bit, about who he trains with and the team and stuff. But who's your what groups are you in? You're a mid-D swimmer, yes? where does Damien put you? Do you sometimes jump in with Meg? Do you do stuff with Sam? Do you like talk to me about your group and where you're at? I guess now you're getting back into it, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a sensational group at the moment. You know, I'm not sure if Shorty sort of talked through it, but we sort of changed our schedule and weekly sort of schedule at the start of the year, where we actually stay out at the pool on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and go from 7:30 to 10 a.m. They've set up like a little room. QIS have set up a room where we can hang out, chill, study area, TV. And then we're back on pool deck at 1 o'clock, in the water at 1:30 till 3:30. So that's like our big double days. And then the single days are sort of swim and gym in the morning. And then after sort of lunch, you got the rest of the day off. So like the idea was sort of maximizing sleep, and sort of how we can do that by getting home way earlier. You know, I'm having dinner at 5 p.m.
Wow.
I'm in my PJs watching my show at 7 sort of thing. And like, I think like the sleep has been a massive thing. And yeah, like that day is hectic, but at the end of the day, you still get the same number of hours, still getting the same volume. But the nighttime recovery has just been so much better. And it just makes it feel more like a job, I guess, because at the end of the day, it is our job. And I think we sort of realize like, well, what's the point of waking up at 5 a.m. and training early if, you know, like we don't have school during the day anymore. Like we're professional athletes. Like what's the point of that? Like, why not get a few more hours sleep, come to training when you're ready and roaring to go, condense that all in and then sleep at night properly. So I think, and that took some getting used to 100%, like, you know, eating lunch at 11, you know, 10:30 a.m., 11 a.m. Instead of normal time. But
you're an old man.
But I think, I'm not complaining.
Senior discount.
This is great. But no, I think like it took the whole, you know, I was definitely a bit skeptical at first, and I think the whole group was, but everyone sort of took it by the horns, and everyone's sort of loving it at the moment. It's definitely brought our squad closer together. And I think like the group we have at the moment, you know, like Meg, Shorty, we've got Charlie Hawks just joined us, Billy Price, Tiana, like we're building up some numbers of sort of Aussie reps, and there's a nice number of young guys coming through as well, age groupers who are just sort of turning 18, 19 now, and you know, really keeping us older guys on our feet. But I mean, in terms of the groups that we get put in, I mean, at the moment we're doing a pretty aerobic block across the board, so everyone's sort of in it together. Distance guys might have a bit more, but I'm actually going to start doing the 4 medley as well. So I'm ramping up the volume quite a fair bit, with the idea of going into next year, like doing those aerobic sets with Shorty and like the rest of the distance crew. And then obviously when he does his sort of like 1500 pace stuff, like I'll drop back with the mid distance crew and do that 200 pace sort of work. But I think like I respond really well to a bit of a massive base underneath me. I mean, like I grew up doing all that stuff, and I actually really enjoy it as well. So, and I think it just like helps my immune system as well. Like helps injury, just makes me a bit more robust, I think. So yeah, I'm definitely keen to get into that some of that sort of work. But I'm rarely with Meg, unfortunately. She's just doing 25s and lane 0.
We got to get better at the 50, man.
No, she's actually doing. She actually did like 6.5K this morning. I think she was going all right.
Oh damn!
Yeah. Distance athlete. But no, we've got a great crew at the moment. Like we're all sort of mates. Like, you know, we'll grab lunch and stuff on weekends and hang out. But yeah, it's a good crew at the moment.
What's a set that when it gets written on the board, you're like, oh no, not this?
Honestly, probably the ones that are like done really quick. like you go there, it's like, oh, this is going to take like 45 minutes, and there are a couple dives. It's like I've just driven half an hour.
You're definitely never going to be in sprint group.
I was like, we're just driven half an hour. Like, surely we're doing something here. Unless it's taper, then I'll froth that. I'll eat that up. Otherwise, if it's just like, I'm not too sure. I think it's like the tedious ones, like where it's the same thing every week. It'll be like a 12-week mock, and it's like, oh shit, okay, it's the same as last week. Shocker! It's like, it's the same as last week. It's like literally just ingrained into your mind, like what the exact whole set is. But that is pretty rare, but it does happen a couple of times. And that's just more like again, like when's it going to stop? When are we going to mix it up?
It's variety.
Yeah.
I used to feel like that too, Tommy. We every Monday was like a heart rate set, 31s on 140 heart rate, right? Or
so
like every
boring.
Tuesday and Thursday was lactate threshold, like 6 150s on 4, balls out from the first go. And we did it for 10 weeks in a row. Tuesday, right, here we go again, But at the same time, it did give you some sort of like, when you nail that set, you're like, oh, a month ago I wasn't holding 128s. What's happening now? And it gives you that little bit of confidence and feel. Does that happen to you? Do you have some sets like, that's interesting. I didn't realize I was there. Oh, shit, I need work to do. Oh, I'm really tired. Like, those are those sets for, right?
I was about to say, like, it can go both ways. And I think that's sort of the beauty and the danger of doing those, like, sort of test sets that you do sort of repeatedly. But I think, like, even now, like, being able to look at the sort of progress I've made in the past like 3 months my physio will show it to me, like when I'm like, oh fuck mate, it's still sore, like what's going on, and when that sort of starts playing up, he'll bring out like the first or second week we're in the water and it was like, I don't know, like 3K body position kick, single arm, and now it's 55K with all sort of swimming. And it's like, okay, we've actually come a long way here. But like, with those repeated sets, it is nice to see improvement, but then it can also play on your mind when it's sort of like, well, this is the end of the set, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm actually not feeling it today, and then you have a shock and be like, oh, last week I did this and this, what's going on? But I think as you grow up, you just learn to mature with that sort of stuff and manage it. The repeated sets can definitely get pretty tedious sometimes, but it is nice to see some progression along that as well.
So I'm going to say this because John, our colleague, is not on it, but PTs sometimes really hate swimmers because we're trained to like ignore pain. We literally do sets to like, here comes the pain, forget about it, move on. And here comes your shoulder. Oh, that's nothing. And you ignore it and you get through the practice and you want to get through it and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. How are you dealing with that now? That's sort of like, that's it. And you're panicking because you don't want to push it, or you go past it, you want to get it worse. How are you dealing with that, feeling that pain? And do you know the good pain, bad pain, when to stop, when not to stop, etc.?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think like the biggest thing was just like recognizing like what's cause for concern and what's acceptable. And like when it was the bone, like I could definitely tell, like, hang on, this doesn't feel like a muscle, like the why, like what the hell is this? But like with the shoulder, it's like, I know exactly where it is. All right, I've felt that all day. And is it getting worse throughout the session? If it's not, all good. If it's below, like we just sort of say 4 out of 10 pain, like it's all good. And if it sort of gets up there, I think, and I've fallen into this trap. I think probably every swimmer falls into the trap of saying it's fine. I just need to keep going. But I think it actually takes a bit of strength and a bit of character to be like, hang on, like this is actually flared up to the point where it's gonna shoot me for the rest of the week. Like, and I think being able to communicate that with your team is actually quite difficult. Definitely if you don't really know them, but even for people who want to not seem like they're in pain. And I think that's just athletes in general. Like it is hard to sort of raise your voice and be like, hey, like I'm actually pretty cooked here. I think like if you do have that personality, then your coach or your physio or whoever will actually listen to you. Like, and be like, oh, he's not taking the piss here. Like, he actually probably is in pain. But yeah, I think like we'll sort of just constantly monitor it. And I guess the team has trusted me to come to them with issues. And I also have, massive trust in them to get this better. And what we've been doing has been really working. So no complaints.
You're reminding me, Brian, I don't know if you agree, a bit of Kyle Chalmers. Just to smile and how you're chatting and stuff. And, Kyle's gone through traumatic injuries and taking breaks and coming back. And has he or anybody else given you some advice, some encouragement, some, words of advice who've gone through this and come back?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think all the from the moment I made my first team, that all the older athletes were sensational. And I think like we've sort of, starting to build a really good culture in the Aussie swim team.
But I mean, per your shoulder, like per
per shoulder. To be honest, like I kept it pretty quiet, and I think like not for any reason at all. I just like didn't really see the need to sort of yell it from the rooftop. But I think the people around me, like closest to me, were very good, and even. Like someone like Shorty who had shoulder issues last year, like I was speaking to him a lot about it, and usually we're just joking about it, like how many injections does it take to get a new shoulder, or who can we get a shoulder transplant from or whatnot. But like and that sort of like is all I sort of needed, and I'm super close with my physio, and he's been unreal through this sort of period, and some of the closer boys who I'm with, like my close mates through the sport of, constantly checking in, and, I think if I need anything, I'll reach out. But, I think everyone sort of through this phase, especially close to me, have been pretty sensational.
So what's ahead in the next 12 months?
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're heading up to Rockhampton for a camp next month, and that it will probably actually be my first race back since Paris. There's just like a little country meet up there.
Nice.
And we did it a couple of years ago, and it's good fun. Just with all the locals up there, put on a bit of a show for them. So we'll do that, and then try. Hoping all goes well, we'll race Queensland States at the end of the year.
That's big.
And then just gear up for trials. I think the plan hopefully is to get over to Flagstaff again at some point. Maybe race over in the US. Hopefully, like around March. I think. What you guys have the TYR series or something? Is that right?
Yeah.
It starts in the spring.
Yeah. Hopefully do something like that.
Why do Aussies love Flagstaff so much? Is that like honestly the closest altitude location you guys can get to?
Yeah. Great question. I just love the scenery, mate. Love the scenery there. No, I don't know. I don't know. There's somewhere down south, but I think it only gets to 1,800. Or 1,600. It's not that high. And
Flagstaff's
I honestly
high.
don't know. Yeah. So Flagstaff's like is the. It honestly might be the closest. I don't know. And I think like the guy there who was looking after us has looked after so many people. So like who have been from Australia before. So I think Australia and them have a pretty good relationship. So.
Yeah, I just feel like I always am hearing about Australians going to Flagstaff, and yet
I've actually never thought
all
of
Americans
that. Right?
go to Colorado Springs because that's where our like national training center is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's like a trip to America. I don't really want to go anywhere else. Like it's pretty cool. So.
I think the British guys too. I feel like Duncan Scott said it or something. Tom Dean, maybe. Those guys go.
They've been heaps as well.
Yeah.
Dunks has been heaps.
Well, let's hit you with some rapid fire questions, man. What's the hardest race in swimming?
I'd say 4 medley.
Okay. Well, since you're doing it now, you got a goal time?
Exactly. Good.
You got a goal.
Hey?
Do you have a goal for it?
Oh, well, I've been 4:13. But yeah, the goals get down pretty low to around 4:06, 4:07. So
I thought you were going to say 4:03, but okay, we'll take 4:06. That's cool. All right. Just rely on the legs, man. 15 meters off that last wall. Okay?
Yeah, I got you. I'll bring my oxygen mask.
Maybe swimming should have that, you know? Oxygen induced.
Yeah.
All right. Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold.
If you could only leave 3 apps on your phone and all the rest have to be deleted, which apps are staying?
Probably Instagram for the reels. I'm pretty addicted to them. That's a good question. Probably Sportsbet. Sportsbet account. And then maybe the NRL app, so I can keep check on all the scores from the rugby league.
Footy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the biggest win that you've had on a sports bet ever?
Not much. I think there was this. I got up on a horse and I put $3 on him, but it was a big roughie, and that got up 500. I think $500, and I was going nuts over that. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty sick.
I think if you ask me if I'm in the green or the red, I've got a pretty clear answer for that. Definitely lost more than I won.
Let's do you at 90% of people, but it's still good fun.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun.
All right. If you could pick up one skill from another elite swimmer, I was thinking about elite 200 freestylers, but I suppose it could be from any other swimmers. What's one skill that you would pick up, and from whom?
Probably Leon's underwater. That'd be pretty handy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably a common answer, but I think.
Yeah.
Or Stubby Cook's breaststroke. I'd love to have that. Yeah.
But at least you can drop him uphill after he's done 10 sets of squats.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right. Have you had any really fun, I'm a famous, semi-famous swimmer moment? You got recognition for being an Olympian or, medalist. What was a cool, oh man, I've made it moment?
I think this one podcast who I used to listen to religiously, the Hello Sport podcast, they're just 2 boys from Manly. And they just cover all the rugby league stuff. Cause I am a big rugby nut, love pretty much all sports, to be honest, but all those sort of Australian sports. And, I was just a kid in the candy store when they reached out to me and said, do you want to jump on our podcast and nice. Do the betting show with them? And I got to pick my multis and verse them. And I don't know, no one, cool. I guess, probably in America would know what the Hello Sport podcast is, but for me, especially my schoolmates who love the podcast as well, we all thought it was just the coolest thing in the world. That's cool. I don't know why that's probably sprung to mind first, because it was the first time, because I was 19. It was the first time someone was sent me a message saying do you want to jump on the podcast? I was mate, I'm a massive fan.
That's pretty cool. If I think about put in the context of, if I think about the podcast that I listen to the most, it's not even, there's no realm of possibility that I would be on one of those shows, so. That's pretty awesome. On a similar vein of like dream worlds kind of scenario that you got to live there, but maybe looking forward, what's like a dream sponsor? Who's somebody that you would just like love to have if you had the opportunity?
Oh, I always think about this. I think. Do you guys know what Bunnings Warehouse is?
Yes, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
No, what is it?
It's just like a store here, which like has literally everything you could possibly imagine, like home hardware store. Like if you need anything, like anything in the world, you could just go there and they'll probably have it. And I think that would be really handy to have for a sponsor. Or other than that, I'd love to have the 4X beer, which is like our Queensland's beer here.
Oh yeah.
They sponsor like all the footy teams, like all the like rugby comps, and like we always joke at training, like imagine having the 4X logo like on your cap, like that'd be so cool. But there's probably conflict of interest between athletes and having
I don't think so, man. Bud Light used to sponsor the Olympic, like in the 80s. They were swimming, like USA Nationals is sponsored by Bud Light. Are they back sponsoring it now?
Yeah, they're back to them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I guess like NA beers are like popular now. Like this is a 0%, but
true.
Maybe because they're getting into that it's like aligned, but also like, I mean, there's fandom too. So I think it's got a place. People like to watch sports. So
100%.
They like to imbibe while they're doing it. And even if the athletes aren't, I don't expect an NFL quarterback or your rugby team to be, drinking on the sideline. So, all right.
Yeah, I think after they might dabble.
After I'd expect them to dabble. If they don't, if you could change any rule in swimming, what would you change?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe, I'd love to see like you can like there's absolutely no restrictions for how to do a relay changeover. Like you don't actually have to start them. Like I want to see how creative people can get and just like running from 10 meters back, launching themselves off the block. Like I think something like that would just be like would go pretty skits because someone would come up with something like that efficient. And I don't know. I think that would
somebody could push you as well.
Or, they push. Yeah. Or someone could probably knock themselves out. So I mean, the safety thing's probably not going to allow that, but it would be cool to see.
Well, it is high consequence if you go too early and then you clip the swimmer in the water. So
yeah, high risk, high reward.
All right, hardest set that you've ever done.
Probably we did this medley set. It was 4100s, and it was like the first 10 were like 4 fly, 3 back, 2 breast, 1 free, and every like it was continuous, and every round the 4 at the start changed stroke, but they were all 400 medley pace.
Okay.
So it was pretty brutal. And then the 2 on each round were both 400 medley pace as well. So the 3 and the 1 is kind of confusing, but the 3 and the 1 each round were like just easy sort of stroke count, make the cycle. But that was just like a pretty grueling set. And I remember it was probably like 2 weeks after that I started getting the really bad elbow pain. And we laugh about that now because like Damo, our coach, is like, that set's coming back, mate. We're calling it the arm breaker. We'll call it the arm breaker.
You've identified the root cause.
Yeah. So we'll make sure I'm a bit more well built up before we do that. But the plan was to sort of have that progressing as well. So I'd love to get back into that sort of stuff. But I find like those sort of medley sets are pretty grueling, or even, just like the repeated 50s, like best average. I think we do, and we do it with Rich Scarce's guys, like coaches Max Giuliani. And we do camps all the time together, and every camp we do like the infinity 50s on 90, where they give you that sort of set goal time and you just got to punch out as many as you can. and that's always like a repeated set. Like some camps, you know, you can. I think the best we've got to is like 26. But then sometimes you can hit 4, and then you're already changed and showered when the people are still going. So
but does any part of you look at your teammate that's still going and go, oh man, they gave him a soft time?
Yeah, 100%. The week of time, you're like, you guys are just shit. Yeah, that's always the excuse. But I think there was this one session. I think it was me, Max, Shorty, and Alex Graham, who was still swimming at the time. We were all just going head to head, and we just kept punching them out. And everyone was sort of dropping out, and I sort of just kept going. It was, that was pretty good stuff.
What were you guys holding? You going what were you holding?
I think we're going like 4 lows.
Oh wow,
24 lows.
Dang.
And it got pretty competitive. It was nice, though. It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Well, Sam said it's still happening a little bit, but I'm curious to know how much social kick are we doing nowadays?
Social kick?
No.
Yeah, fair bit, to be honest. I'd probably average, I reckon, at least 100 to 200 per session.
There we go. Okay, we'll take it.
You got to do it at the end of every session. Unless I'm grumpy and don't want to speak, then it's just kick. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the grumpy days are fewer than.
100%. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, dude, thanks for hanging out, man. It's fun to get to know you a bit, and one of the fun things about doing what we do is building the network. And so when we watch selfishly, World Championships, Olympics, or some of these major meets, or you come over for the Tier Pro series or something, we get to it's that's cool. Like we talked to Tommy, we know him, and we have like more people to cheer for. So nice. And our hope is that there's an opportunity to continue to grow not only the American audience but others, and just expanding beyond lane 4 or the one person who's in there. But at the same time, your comeback, I'm ready for the world champion Tommy Neill.
100.
Let's get that gold medal. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
Right.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you, guys. I appreciate the chat. Yeah, cheers. Thanks, boys.
Likewise. That's it for this episode of Social Kick. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode of Social Kick and you'd like to see more, subscribe to the channel. And we love talking swimming, and we'd love to talk about swimming with you. So leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time.